all I'm saying is, mate, right, when you go to Butlin, stuff comes back. Oh, hello! Welcome to Not Another Leeds podcast with me, Danny. And it is a very happy Easter, isn't it, Mr. Joe?
It is, mate. Yeah, I'm rejoicing. I actually went to church this morning and sang some Jesus bangers, mate. So yeah, I'm in very good mood.
Some Jesus bangers. Did it, the best of
Bangers.
Jesus
Yeah,
40?
Jesus bangers. Yeah, that's what I like to call them. I don't mind a hymn, mate. So, yeah, sing Hosanna and all that. Sing
Yeah.
Hosanna.
See, I
Sing.
can't do that. I
Right.
can't do that, mate. If I set foot in the church, I'll burst into flames. Unholy. But how are you doing, mate? How are you doing?
Good, mate. Yeah, really good. I mean, in a personal stance, yeah, good. In a footballing stance, amazing. Yeah, we're going back, aren't we? We're back, mate. We're back.
It looks that way.
Yeah,
It looks that way, doesn't
we
it?
can say it. We can say it. I know people keep telling me not, but I think we can say it.
It's just too perfect, isn't it? It's just too perfect. But yet again, if any fan base shouldn't get ahead of themselves, I think it should be us, because I don't know how somehow we would be able to mess it up or something, won't we?
Yeah, that's what people keep saying. Are you forgetting? But yeah, nah, not for me. Yeah, we're done, man. We're done. We can't. Honestly, we need 4 points from 3 games. To be honest, Danny, I think we might win them all, man. We might win them all.
And that'd be good to go up with the title. Be good to go up with the title, of course. But as it stands, if we beat Stoke and Burnley win, or Sheffield lose or draw, we're up.
Yeah.
And that's when the titty sassles come out.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, we're not here to talk about my nips just yet. That's for another show. But Joe, first of all, I have to thank you for coming on. It's been a while.
Yeah,
and I've not seen you this excited since you saw me in my boxes on that walk.
I know, right?
But,
good times.
But also, I like to thank you for coming from your Illuminati meeting and for sponsoring the show.
Okay.
I believe that you stream religious activity and you call it Holy Fans. Is that right?
I did wonder what the reference to the Illuminati was. I was thinking, what's he cooking up for me here? Yeah, mate. Yeah, so Holy Fans. Yeah, come and read prayer together whilst having our chebs out.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the way it's going.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga style. Anyway, let's get on to the Oxford game, mate. How were you feeling going into this game? Were you nervous at all? Obviously, I know you say your mind. You say it with chest in the just your way.
I actually thought we were going to draw, Danny. And I said that to a lot of people and said, listen, if we do, don't lose your heads because we'll win on Monday. So I said, if we win, I mean, wow, yeah. So that's what I mean. That's why, yeah, I thought we'd draw at Oxford. So I had the same feeling ahead of Luton, and my reaction probably wasn't as angry at Luton because of that, because I'd sort of prepared myself for a draw. And that's how I felt going into Oxford. So the fact that we won was amazing, and I think the performance as well was just so professional and good that yeah, it was happy days, mate. I wasn't. I've not
quite a few of these.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Where is he? Where is it? If he thinks he's on holiday, man, he's full of shit. He's sat at local pond with dog. He's full of it.
He's currently writing in his feelings journal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, brilliant.
But yeah, I remember seeing on one of your previews saying that you think you draw, and do you know what? Yeah. You can't say boo to that, because Burnley went down there, got a 1-1 draw. Sheffield went down there and lost 1-0. And to be honest, mate, I was thinking we were going to draw. Just especially that first 10 minutes when they cut inside. I think was it Nonto that lost it, or he got done and they just went and he cut inside and Darlow made a great save. Can't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
Oh, it Tanaka. It was Tanaka again, I think.
Yeah, Tanaka. No, it was. Yeah. Because I remember saying, like, physically sometimes he does get bodied a little bit. Does Tanaka? If we're being totally honest, he is tenacious. And
I think he is. He is the glorious Leeds beast and samurai. But the thing is, I think I saw a stat. I think it was Jer who said it on his channel that he's played 600 minutes more than he played last season. So I think it's just fatigue for me.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you know, as I thought overall, I thought it was a professional win. You know, a
Yeah.
really good win nonetheless. I don't want to take anything away from that.
Yeah.
But do you know, I thought whenever they were dangerous, I felt safe, and
Yeah.
I want to talk from my thinking. Why? You know, Rodon and Ampadu will get on to, but it's this guy that I really want to talk to because I think he's been great since he came in. Cal Darlow.
Yeah.
You know, how how great is it to actually see a keeper catch the ball and not panic?
It's mad.
You know what I mean?
Honestly, especially when you consider the opposition we were up against, and we weren't really troubled if it's Melier. I'd be massively worried going into that game, and then during the game. I remember the Sheffield United game, if you remember, and he dropped a few there, and thankfully we came through it. But I remember the feeling because I was going, his head's gone, man. Get him off! Like I remember doing it against Sheffield United in the early exchanges. So I am sorry, Kelly. I'm yawning. I'm so tired.
It's all right. That pillar slipped earlier.
But yeah, Darlow just gives a sense of assurance, and I think that also breeds into the defence. I think we see a confident Rodon, to be honest, with Cal Darlow behind him, and it helps they play internationally together as well, doesn't it? You know, you've got the same trio there, so it's great to see. Yeah,
and you know, the people, it's been coined the Welsh Triangle, and I think you referenced it to the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
And you went,
Strikers
and I'll do the Joe voice. I'll do the Joe voice. You're going to Bermuda Triangle. If you get it, you get it. Yeah. So like, I thought early on his save would it was routine for me, but I thought it was still a good strong save. Pushed it away from their attacker because he was there for the follow up. I just think he's been great since he came in. There's been a few wobbly moments, i.e. when the one thing I don't like about the Darlow, he's not good with his feet, but he lets attackers chase him down. I mean, we got away with one, didn't we?
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah. He did do where he was a little bit dodgy, weren't he? That's where as well. I know there'll be. I think as Leeds fans, we can get guilty of going, he deserves a shot. So there'll be some towards the end of the season saying, I think Darlow should be number, but I would still advocate signing a new keeper, a new number one for the Premier League. Definitely. Because, 100%. Yeah, it's a different level, isn't it? Melier will be sold, so we'll need to replace him anyway. So I think sign a new goalkeeper, one that is apt with his feet as well as, because as long as he can keep goal, that's the thing. Sometimes now there's more emphasis on being good with your feet, but I think Leeds United, we will concede a lot of chances, obviously being one of the worst teams in the division, you'd imagine, next season. So we need to ensure we have a rock solid defence and a great goalkeeper for sure. That's one thing we need.
Yeah. Do you think this adds, because obviously they played before us? This comment from Wayne saying Burnley and Sheff winning prior to Leeds game put us under pressure beforehand. Great result in the end. I know. I think it was Rodon referenced it, saying it was difficult. It might have been Ampadu, sorry. Us playing later on adds a bit of pressure to them psychologically. Do you agree with that, or do you think?
I guess so. Yeah, I think the players knew what they needed to go and do, didn't they? I guess there is that. It would have. But for me, like, from a fan perspective, a lot of fans were saying that in the lead up to, it's pressure on us now. But I just never felt like that because I think for me, it wasn't a must-win for Leeds. That's the thing. Because of the gap we had to Sheffield United, it genuinely wasn't a must-win. And a point would have been enough. We'd have still had, but ultimately, Sheffield United have to go beat Burnley regardless. So even if we'd have drawn that game, they'd have still had to go beat Burnley in order for them to have a chance of staying up. So I I don't think there was that much pressure on them personally. But I tell you what, I do think was bad was, and I still think it's the fact that they moved Bristol City to Monday.
Yeah, I'm fuming
because if that game was still riding on it, then that'd have been a bit of a shit trick to think that they had have played Friday and Saturday, then Leeds would have had to wait for Monday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It's shit as well. You know, like if it was riding on that day and we had to win that day and we did win, you know, it's. I mean, I remember obviously during the COVID and when we went up under Bielsa, that you know people just couldn't do it as much. Like I know I couldn't make it because I wasn't there and it was fuming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I would have gone to the shop and just punched every watermelon I saw. I don't know why I said that. But I tell you what, we're on Sheffield. I cannot believe the capitulation that Sheffield United have gone through.
Mental.
Mate, when I saw that second goal come through on my phone, this was me. Could not believe it. I generally could not believe it, mate. But I thought that's spurred us on, in my opinion. But yeah, Darlow, mate, I thought it was great, and I hope he sort of turned around and said, "I'm going to make this mine." Sorry, Melier, but you know I want game time, and that's exactly what he's done. Now, obviously, you've seen the thumbnail for this, and I absolutely love this guy, Joe Rodon. What a signing!
Yeah,
you can see there. I think this was against it was Preston, I believe.
That's right.
He's such a leader at the back, mate. I love him. Great signing. Contender for player of the season for you, Joe?
Yes, yeah, and I think there's been a lot more calls for it recently as well. I've noticed that online. I still think Dan James will get it. Just because he's an attacker, Danny, and he's scoring goals and stuff, and everybody likes Dan James, right? The person.
Yeah.
But listen, Joe Rodon is making a late push for it, definitely, and it'll be interesting to see the split in the votes. But I think if it went to the fans, I do think, which it will, obviously, I think Dan James will get it. But I wouldn't begrudge Joe Rodon getting it even. You've got to remember, like, Joe Rodon turned interest down from the Premier League to come back to Leeds United. And that's why it means so much to him, you know. And if you look at the teams that he could have gone to, they're all relegated now. So he made the right decision, you know. He made the right decision.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Ipswich to be confirmed, and I've got a banging meme to get out there on the socials. I had loads last year, but you know, obviously, got ruined because we didn't go up. But you know, but yeah, Rodon for me, mate. He's up there. He's definitely top two.
Yeah.
I think I think it's. For me personally, I think the top five would be Amps, Dan James, Rodon, Tanaka, and Solomon. I think it's them five. It's got to be between them, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think that's fair, mate.
Now, I've heard you talk some stuff about Brendan Aronson, mate. Now, you like him in tight spaces, I think you. But what I mean is, like, it's not a lot of people that like him, but I think he does a job up until attacking in the 18-yard box.
Yeah,
like for instance, when he had that chance against Oxford, I thought he should have buried that personally, but he scuffed it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think. Look, I do rate him. I think rating's the wrong word. I think he's a good squad player for the Premier League. I do think he gets unfairly battered by large sections of the fan base. Shit sticks, right? And even when he's had a good game, people just, he's done now, and you know, he's rubbish. Like someone said to me over there, normally agree with you, but Brendan Aronson did nothing, Joe. He pressed well, and I'm like, well, he did something then, didn't he? He pressed well. That's what he's in the side to do. And look, I think he's underrated when he receives the ball on the half turn. He's so quick when he can just boom, drop shot, and he can get out of tight spaces. I disagree that he's not good in tight spaces. Joe mentioned that the other day. I did disagree with it because I think that's his that's his wheelhouse, to be honest. That's what he's good at. It's when he carries the ball and has time to think that he normally pulls the pass left, pulls it right, puts too much on it, puts too little on it. That's where he becomes frustrating. And yeah, I think in the Premier League, mate, for me, say we're winning the game, there's 10, 15 minutes to go, 20 minutes, and you want to see the game out. He'd be great to bring on, right? Do you know what I mean? If they're getting a lot of the ball, the defenders are getting on it, they've got us penned in, we're winning 1-0. Brendan Aaronson's a perfect player to bring on and just hassle and harry,
Yeah. Well, I've got a magic trick for you, Joe, because I'd like to get an opinion from a friend of mine. And it's...
Okay.
There he is. Mr. Jay Cartier from Ought to Know Better has joined us. Thank you for joining us, Jay.
I've worn the wrong colour t-shirt because I've sort of into my background. And I've got a green straw as well. It's all gone to
Jay, please, first and foremost, before you say anything, do not mention wrestling because I have not watched it. Please.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Stone Cold won. Stone Cold did the rock
for that matter. I have just turned on the private chat, so I cannot see the comments either because I know someone will try and ruin it for me. I've not seen any of it.
Well, really? That guy? Wow.
What I will say, Joe, is they were good and bad, and overall it was probably decent. But there were a lot of stuff they could have just done on Raw or SmackDown. But that's as far as I'll go.
Maybe tonight it'll be better.
Sorry, boy.
I think it will.
Sorry.
I think it will.
Sorry,
Jay. We talked about Brendan Aronson in tight spaces. Thank you. Do you like him in tight spaces, or do you prefer him nice and loose?
Nice and loose for me, mate. I don't think he reacts well in tight spaces. Gets a bit confuddled and flustered.
Yeah, and says sorry and cries a lot after.
Yeah, and I tell him it's okay, but I heard a bit of what you were saying though about him. I'm you know my stance on him, Danny. I'm not a big fan, but as a player,
but you swore blind. Sorry, you swore blind that you'd never forgive the 49ers when they sold Archie Gray.
Ooh.
Have you forgiven them? That were matches away. 4 points potentially of returning to the Premier League.
I've had bollocks. If we go up, I'll consider forgiving him.
All right, okay. Right, but that's fair.
On Aronson, it's for me. I like you're far more positive about him, Joe, than I can be. But what I will say is, I think as a team, we probably look better with him in it, even though I don't particularly like him individually. The work that he does and the movement he does and things like that does seem to benefit the team in the shape and the way that we press from the front and stuff like that. And you're not going to get that out of Pirro. So you have to have somebody up there. And I can't remember who said it now. It might have been Luke on ours. It was either Luke on ours or it was you on one of yours, Joe. I can never remember now because everything just blends into one at the moment. WhatsApp and stuff. But one of you described him as being like a defensive attacking midfielder. It might have been Luke. And he kind of is, because the press sort of starts with him. Is there a lot of stuff he could do better for me? Yes. Would I prefer a more accomplished player in there? Yes. I think most people probably would. But the way that we play does seem to work better with him in there, sadly.
I think if he is the before evolve Pokemon of Josh Sargent, I think Josh Sargent is the full evolution. I think Josh Sargent is better than Brendan Aronson personally. But I don't know. Brendan, he gives me Frodo vibes. You know what I mean? He can carry it okay, but in the end, Big Sam's got to help him. You know what I mean? But yeah,
it needs help.
It is. We touched on Darlow. Just right quickly, your thoughts on Darlow, Jay?
He's made me feel a lot calmer. And if he's done that for me, he's got to have done that for the players on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah.
He's not done anything spectacular, but he's also, apart from when he nearly got tackled with it, he's not done anything really crazy. I can forgive the punch, I don't really know what he was thinking, but I feel like he probably knew he'd get away with it, so I'm going to forgive it. It's just the fact he can catch it. He's not going to, he's not going to tear it up, set the world light. You can see that we're not playing back to keeper as often because he's not as good with his feet. The defenders are keeping the ball between them, and that's a shift in the way we play. But it's not sort of done us any harm from what I've seen, and he's still there as an option if we do need to go back. He's just, you got to remember it's going to take him 10 minutes to kick it out, and then you're all good.
Yeah, it's like he's got a lag, isn't he? It's like his legs have got lag before he kicks the ball.
Yeah,
Joe,
but he catches it, Daddy, and his distribution's far better than Melia's.
That's all we want, just someone to catch it, like my heart. Joe, I'll come to you, mate, because it's been put out there into the netherverse of the X, formerly of Twitter, that Pascal being injured is a positive because Ampadu is slotted back into the centre of defence, because our best partnership is Ampadu and Rodon. Do you agree? Which camp are you in?
It's
I know it's not a yes and no. But...
Yeah, it's difficult because for a long time I was like, no, we need to get Ampadu back into midfield. However, I do think the Welsh Triangle has been a massive reason as to why we are doing as well as we are, like keeping clean sheets, for example. Yeah. I also think as well, like in the build-up, I like when Gruev can drop in the left sort of centre-back role and Ampadu can go into the middle, and he seems to have more passing range than what Strauch does. We seem to see more heat-seeker balls over the top at times from Ampadu. He did it last season, if you remember, to Rutter a couple of times as well. So I do like it. And listen, I put it to the Final Word crew about, is that something we can look at the Prem? And they did make the point of saying centre-back in the Prem, it's not for Ampadu. We need a new left centre-back, and I advocate that. I do like Strauch, but I think his injury record alone probably means that we need a long-term partner for Joe Rodon, because we know Joe Rodon can play every single fucking game. So let's get him a new long-term partner. And let them strike it up, and Ampadu will play in midfield, and I'm okay with that, definitely. But yeah, I think, I don't want to say blessing in disguise, it's not, because I still think we'd have been all right had Strauch started, you know what I mean? It's just, I think Strauch's going to find it difficult now. I know the manager's a big fan of him, I know a lot of people are fans of him, but just with his injury record and, has been light in centre-back anyway, you might find a scenario in which he loses his place in the Premier League to a new signing, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Ampadu should be centre-back if and when we do go up. I just hope we don't buy a Robin Koch again, or a Maximilian Vauber. Jay, I mean, I think, Jay, that Rodon is ready for the Premier League to prove himself.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look how good he's been this season. He's just Mr. Reliable. You just know that you're going to get a good game out of Joe Rodon, more than likely. And he's on top of everything at the moment. He's just this is the form of his season right now. I think he's smashing it. Like when some players kind of went off the boil a bit, others have kind of come in now and stepped into the void a bit. And
do you think he's getting better at carrying it out? He's always had that, Jay, but he looks to be more confident and assured in doing it at the minute.
I think the fact that he can carry it out so well means that we don't need Strike at centre back next to him, because Strike getting the ball out of defence is supposed to be one of his strengths. But for me, again, we do look better with Ampadu in there, because you've got Rodon who can carry it, and then you've got Ampadu who can play a pass from defence if needed, and that's a great combo. And I just think if we're going to get somebody else next to Rodon next season, then I just want to see somebody with a bit of pace back there. I want a quick defender.
What about this guy?
The thing that would let Ampadu down at the top level.
Jimmy Glass says, would you have Howard Billis?
Maybe.
To be honest, yeah, I saw that, and if he was available from Saints, which he's probably going to be, I think that'd be a great partnership. Howard Billis and Rodon. I think it'd be great.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be all right with that. I think we're going to end up with a new keeper and a new centre back, so just have to make sure we cover this time, don't we?
I think we'll have a flurry of new players. We'll talk about that soon. We've got a troublemaker in the chat. I'm sorry about this, everyone. Good evening, chaps. Anyone else wishing bank holiday away? Just to just know whether we can celebrate tomorrow. Excuse me. Yeah, I am Evie, to be honest. Knowing our bloody luck, we'll lose tomorrow and Burnley will win. It's just, one of them things. Allegiance.
Don't, Danny, don't.
Yeah, I know.
When you look at it and you think they could still end up on like 100 points, Sheffield United, and we could not get that. And yeah, I can't worry about stuff like that.
I genuinely believe that we'll smash Stoke tomorrow, but we'll get on that into due course. Moving slightly up the field, then Gnonto, I'd like to speak about, Joe. I don't think that Gnonto has took this opportunity for me. Don't get me wrong, I don't think he's had a stinker or horrendous form. I just feel like, I don't know, he's just been, he's plateaued for me. What's your thoughts on Gnonto, mate?
Yeah, I mean, he started the season really well, and then there was a period of time where I believe the fans were over-gassing him. Let's not forget, it was a time in the season when he was fourth choice winger. He was coming on last, a bit like Ramazani is at the minute. I mean, Ramazani's not coming on at all, is he? But Gnonto couldn't get on at all. And then we saw some great sub-appearances from him, and he looked like he was chomping at the bit. James gets injured. He has a real opportunity to shine, and I just don't think he did. I think he really... I thought he was okay, but I expect more. I do. People...
Especially... Sorry, mate. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, like, people say to me, like, when I'll go... I think Firpo deserves an opportunity, right? Let's say, for example, and everyone goes, but it's dropping level. They talk about Aronson and they'll go, yeah, but look at the level. Well, why isn't Gnonto killing it then? Is my counter to that. If we're talking about level with them and they're, Firpo looks a world beater at this level at times, then why, don't we see? So, look, and I'm not as enamoured as everyone else is. I do think he's a great player, obviously, but I'm a little bit disappointed, mate. He's still got great numbers, but I thought he might have took his opportunity after some good sub appearances, but he hasn't. And I think if James is 70%, the manager will play him, to be honest, on Monday.
Joe hates Gnonto. Yep. Jay, what's your thoughts on Gnonto, mate? Because I'd like to say he's Gnonto shabby.
Jesus Christ, Anna.
I know. Well, what do you expect? Sorry, but if you're new here, expect
nothing, mate.
Jokes. That's what I'm about.
Nothing less.
That's why Joe doesn't react anymore, because he's immune to my shit jokes.
That's true, yeah.
I've had them.
I think,
and they'll never stop.
No, that's true. You certainly will.
Should see memes he sends, by the way. You'll have probably got them, Jay. My God, some of them are the weirdest things. Some of them are hilarious, and others I'm like, what is this, Danny? Like, his algorithm's warped, man.
It's a worrying glimpse into the depths of his mind. That's what
some say warped. Is. You say warped, I say, unique.
I'll be like, Danny, I don't get it. And I'll go, yeah, but it's just a cat doing this. And I'm like, yeah, but why and what and why? I don't get it,
I'm all for the cat stuff, though.
Bryn Johnson, having a real war with him is just impossible. He sent me like 50 reels in a row last night, and I just look in the comments. Look, this is what he said about my reels. You should see Bryn's reels. You should see Bryn's reels. If our chat got leaked, honestly, mate, we'd be in Broadmoor. Sorry, Jay, go on.
I know Bryn well enough to know what those reels will be like. Yeah, I mean, for Gnonto, it kind of suffers from the curse of being like the big game changer, the player that we all want to see, because Joffy was that player, shipped out. Willie was that player. He wanted to leave, and since then we've really struggled to get the same kind of tune out of him, for me. And it's more disappointing with him because we've seen him do it in the Premier League. We know how good he can be. And we've seen him do it, international level, under 20s and senior side and whatever. We know what he's capable of, and we know that what we're seeing of him, if I could speak, is like a shadow of the best bit of Willie Gnonto, And that's the disappointing thing for me.
A shell of his former self, is what you're trying to say?
Kind of. You get flashes of brilliance now and again. Still, he'll pull a fantastic shot out of his ass out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean? He'll do something like that.
Yeah.
And you'll think, oh, that's the old Willie Nonto. And then he'll have a bang average game next time out. And it's the inconsistency and the fact that we're not seeing him hit the heights that we know he can. The whole thing, the big hope was that he was going to step into Somerville's shoes this season, and he's ended up a bit part player.
So, like you mentioned, Joffrey there, mate. I had high hopes for Joffrey. I really thought he'd jump out this season. I've actually got an old picture of Joffrey. I don't know if you've seen this before. With his little Minecraft body. So I personally think Nonto needs to step up, or he might just be a squad player in the Premier League next season. Now, we'll move on to the man of the game, Manor Solomon. Jay, it was a great Jayden Bogle, by the way. Going back to Rodon again, defense splitting pass straight into Bogle. Bogle knows exactly what he's doing, straight across the box. Solomon, roof of the net, no doubt, and that's 1-0 Leeds United.
Bang. Yeah, it were great. Solomon's been awesome last couple of games. He's had some criticism from some corners. Should be dropped, needs a rest. He's not on it. He don't look interested. And then he's just stepped right up and played some of the best football we've seen from him last few games. He is so vital to us. And I really hope we can keep him. But he'd be forgiven for aiming higher.
That was my next question.
You know what I mean?
Would you sign him if it's like, there's rumours of 25 million. I don't think he's worth that much personally. 15 to 20 maybe with add-ons. But would you definitely sign him if we?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
I would.
I don't think it'll cost 20, 25. I think that's.
No, I think that's just Premier League tax. If I'm being honest with you.
I think people are just plucking figures out. Maybe there was a bloody clickbait article done a while ago. I don't think we'd have to pay 25 or something, but we've got a good relationship with Spurs. Let's not forget. We have Spence, Rodon, and we sold them Gray, and we clearly have a decent.
They give us turf,
and you'd imagine they could take any fee for Solomon out of what they owe for Gray still, which also
there's that as well. You make a good point, and you've got. For me, you've got a Premier League player. Look. We don't want to have to buy a whole new fecking squad, do you? I think he's happy here as well. I get that impression that he's happy at the football club. So
he seems to be, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Seems to be loving it.
You see, well, there were rumours and murmurs earlier on in the season. I think it was January time that it could have been it could be a possibility. That I think he's a ready-made Premier League player, but the fact of the matter is, what scares me is his injury record, because he's had major surgeries on his knees. You know what I mean?
He hasn't
played all season.
Yeah, exactly.
One little spell out, didn't he, where he missed a couple of games, wasn't it?
This is what I mean, though, but all it takes is one more knock.
But people talk. This is where
for any player.
Yeah, it's true. You can get it by a bus, Dan. You know what I mean? That's
could get trapped in turnstile at Elland Road.
Exactly, but
you could get DMV norovirus. You know what I mean?
And I do think there is a case that, when people say that Farker overplays certain players, etc. But one thing I will say for him, the fucking fit, and all you have to look at is someone like Solomon, who has been played with injuries. He's played loads of football. Sam Byram, the last time he played as much football as he's done in these last 2 seasons was when he was last at Leeds about a decade ago. So you've got to give praise to the Farker's fitness and medical staff and all that, because we haven't had like massive injuries. Look how quick Ampadu's got back and stuff. You have to give him praise for that, because Byron was broke, right? He was, wasn't he? We were all going, he's fucking broke.
Nobody wanted him.
Yeah. And look what we've got from him for 2 seasons. I think it's been great. And Solomon falls into that category as well. Everyone was right to be concerned about his injuries, but if we actually look at the amount of football he's played, again, without checking, but it's probably the most football he's played in the last 5 seasons or something at Solomon.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to check.
I'm
going to check while you talk.
You check, you sexy bastard.
We've got a bunch of players in the team. Sorry, go on, Danny.
Yeah. I was just going to say, a tweet from Johnny Cooper says, Leeds United have won all 8 league games when Manor Solomon has found the net. The joint best 100% win record. I can't speak. My lips are doing this and sounds are coming out. When a player has scored...
I found it. Sorry. It is actually the most football he's played in his entire career.
There you go.
There you go. Their ground must be softer at Ellen Road.
Yeah. The most he's played. So he's played 36 times this season. Outside of that, he played 23 in Shakhtar, 20 in Shakhtar, and then less than 20 in the Premier League for Fulham and Spurs. So this is the most he's played in his career. So you've got to give props to the...
Awesome.
Yeah.
And they've had some stick our medical department over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
Well, that's because they just create Frankensteins. They just take other players, take their hamstrings and put them into Bamford. Bamford goes out with the physios at Christmas. He's on their Christmas do. But speaking of Bamford, his recent cameos, Joe, does he start for you? Well, sorry, I'll start again. Bamford, his recent cameos have been better than I expected. He's not injured himself, and he's done some good stuff on the pitch. Now, is this for you? Is this Bamford's farewell last home game on against the who's it on Saturday?
Bristol.
Before these sub appearances, no, I wouldn't have said. No.
Does he still? Does he go?
I don't think maybe he's done enough to. With a year left, Bamford will see out his contract. I don't think he'll want to leave. Yeah. I think Farker will want to keep him for experience. He's scored in the Premier League before. He can come on and do a job. If he can stay fit, he can do what he's doing now in the Premier League. You know, we were talking about holding on to a lead and maybe Aronson coming on and buzzing about. Bamford offers you exactly the same. You know, I do think we need a number 9, but no one's going to take Bamford. He's in the last year of his deal. He'll see it out. I think he's been here. What? I don't know. Is it nearly? I don't know. What?
2018. We signed him. Yeah, 2018.
7 years.
Long time.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like 25, 26 only when he came.
Yeah. So like
I think Orta signed him off the back of that that pirouette goal he scored against us. Remember at Riverside? No, not Riverside.
He scored
wherever it is. Yeah, I think he just signed him off back of that. But he's been there since Bielsa first came in.
Yeah.
What about you, Jay Bamford? Do we just strip him down for spare parts, keep him in the fridge? Or does he see out his contract, which you naturally think he would? Or do the club do a click, release him from his contract so he can go to a different club?
He sees it out, I think, purely for the fact that if all goes well, he's on Premier League money. Who's going to come in and give Bamford 80 grand? Or whatever it
Chelsea.
is. Why? Do they need a ball boy?
Well, it's going back to his roots, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't want to see him ever again at one point, I'll be honest. Yeah. I was done with him. And he'd cost us points so many times. And I were done with him. But fair play to him. He's never given up. He's never jacked it in and said, nah, screw you all. Even when people have turned up at his house, which absolutely should never happen. The guy's still turned up and he's still put a shift in when he has been on the pitch. And that's all we ask of Leeds players at the end of the day. And do I want us to still be relying on him in 2025, let alone 2026? Absolutely not. But that's not his fault. And he is putting in a shift when he gets picked, and that's all I'll ask of him. If he's on the pitch, then I'll cheer for him, but I would like to see a better option. I just don't, he was, but I just don't see him leaving because I don't see anyone putting up the money.
It might not be about the money for Bamford at this stage in his career because how old is he? 33, 32?
I mean, if someone puts a 2-year contract on the table in front of him and says, like a Wrexham, we'll give you 50 grand a week if they go up into the Championship or 40 grand or whatever, but we'll give you 2 years of it. He might say, yeah, fair enough. But
yeah, I can personally, I can see him.
It's a long shot.
Into a mid to lower end Championship team after us, or even a League One, just to get his confidence back. And it's just one of them, isn't it?
Yeah, you just don't know. It's hard to predict situation. There's so many moving parts to it.
Yeah, yes. There's loads in there, really. Right, Dan James, a bit of rust for coming on. I thought it was ineffective, but do you think that's rust, Joe?
I mean, yeah, I've seen some scathing tweets actually. I was like, relax, man.
Oh, Jay, not call for me.
Man, I keep my nose clean on Twitter, generally.
No, he'll be fine. Dan James has been quality all season, and okay, he's had a few poor performances, but we've seen that with Solomon, and look what happened. We've got 3 games left. To be honest, I think we're already up. I'm cool. No, I do, Jay. Honestly, man, we're done, man. We were done.
I think so too, but I daren't say it for sure.
Really.
The thing is with Joe, once he's in 100%, he gives it his all, and you've got to give it to Joe because. And if he's wrong and he slips up, Joe owns it. He's got.
Don't go missing like certain Leicester fan channels.
Yeah,
man, you just got to take your medicine when you stand by an opinion, don't you?
100%. 100%.
What about you, Jay? DJ? That rhymed.
I think he probably brought him on to make sure he's fit for
Yeah.
last few games, to be honest with you, because he looked like he'd been out drinking with me and Gilly last Saturday night. You know what I mean? He wasn't sprinting for anything. He were letting like other players do the running for him. And
is this the same Gilly who's in charge of the Brendan Aronson fan club? The president of
the very same, yeah. The very it was his birthday last weekend, wasn't it? We got that epic win.
Happy birthday.
Sheffield lost, and it got messy after Peacock. So yeah. But yeah,
well, from what I've seen, yeah, blurred lines.
2 days to recover, mate. 2 days. Yeah. But yeah, he looked off it for me. But I think it was just about getting him back on field and getting some minutes back in his legs and making sure he wasn't sat on sidelines till next match, rather than bringing him on and hoping he doesn't have a reaction in next game. It's better to sort of get that out of the way now. I think that's what Farker would do.
I agree.
Yes,
I mean, we could talk about the rest of the squad, but there's 2 players that we pretty much 90% of the squad. But Tanaka and Bogle, right? I thought Bogle were outstanding last night, and he's up there for contender. I was saying, Jay, just before he dropped on that contender for player of the season. He's definitely the signing of the season for me. 5 million snip. And I think
Tanaka's in there with him. But...
But for the value, what we've got out of Jayden Bogle, I thought it was great. What about you, Joe? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think and I actually think Bogle is the signing of the season. And the reason I say that is we could miss Tanaka and still win games of football because we have adequate cover in midfield. If we miss Bogle for a long period of time, it'd be a bit of an issue. For that reason, I think Bogle for me. I do love Tanaka. I don't think he's been great the last few weeks, but like's been said, I think it's the most football he's played. You know what I mean? So it's going to take time to adjust. But yeah, I think Bogle, what a signing there! What a signing! And
I think
again,
when we signed him, we weakened Sheffield United massively. in my opinion.
True. Yeah,
but it's all right because they've
had 3 there. They've had Shackleton, Harry Clark, and Alfie Gilchrist. So yeah, it's not gone well. I think they're playing some. And Sariki, and then Hamza Chowdhury. So they've had like 5 different players play back for them this season.
Right.
Robinson as well, who they've thrown under a bus, by the way, of the Sheffield United fans. Yeah, is it Jack Robinson?
Yeah, he was captain.
Smashed him. He was catching
what's he done?
Yeah, played for him.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes, mate.
As bad as us.
Brilliant.
Right then. Before we move on to the next segment, don't worry, Joe, you're nearly there. We'll do guess the player. Jay, this is your favourite one. If you are new here, which I imagine most of you are, what I will do is I will put out an image and I'll show them about 5 to 10 seconds and say some relatively true facts. I say relatively loosely. And they have got to try and guess. And I would like to see your guesses in the comments as well, because I'd like to see your comments. That's why. Right. Let's get in. So are you confident, Jay?
Not really.
Oh, that's a great start. Joe, I know you're confident.
Yeah, man.
100% record, 100% wrong, that is. Right, so here is this week's Guess the Player. Now, this player has been called prehistoric in the changing rooms, the way he plays football, and some call him a big baby, an absolute big baby. But prehistoric and big baby. He's played for he is quite. To be fair, he is quite old. He's been around a bit, mostly Central Europe. But who do you think it is, Jay? I'll come to you first, mate.
God, I'm rubbish at these, mate. I can't think on the spot.
Well, that's what I'm asking you to do.
I'm going to say it's the baby from the Dinosaurs TV program. After that description,
Oh, that's a good. That's a good shout.
He's a good player.
What about? Yeah, decent header. Yeah. What about you, Joe?
I genuinely was thinking of that. I think that same program where they used to talk. It used to be in an egg.
It was a great program.
Yeah.
It was a great program. I used to watch it. Yeah.
Depressing ending though.
It was
great.
Ending.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna go for T-Rex.
T-Rex. Okay. Well, we've got Declan Rice, Chris Wilder. Don't like him.
He's prehistoric.
Fred Flintstone. Got the same one. Mammoth. It's a good shout.
Oh,
yeah.
Like Sid. Oh, maybe
Declan Fried Rice.
Never.
Chucky
Sid
the big baby. So maybe randomly Ross Barkley.
Bit prehistoric.
Well, here we go. I can tell you, this is what you saw, and Joe Blackburn, you are absolutely wrong. It's the baby.
Oh, it's the baby.
Oh, yes. Get in, yes.
Well, well done, boys. And it just shows you teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, man. That program was quality, by the way. It was quality.
Do you remember the ending, though, Joe?
My little nappy.
Do you remember the ending? No.
So they look out the window and see the asteroid coming.
Spoiler alert, by the way. Yeah, it's proper depressing, mate. Like 8-year-old me, like I remember I was about 8 years old. I was still in nappies, breastfeeding, and look, like I'm just saying, if you knew,
he used to come in from work, didn't he, with his shirt on and that, boom, boom.
Yeah, proper lumberjack vibes.
Yeah.
Do you remember Alf as well? Do you remember that program?
No, it's a bit before my time.
We're not that old, Jay. Come on.
You can't be that young. Fucking hell.
Alien life form. A bad paper round for us. Anyway. Obviously, Joe, we mentioned it just before Jay came on. Leicester. Remember this guy? Remember this dude? Yeah. Obviously, you've been given the big licks, haven't you, Joe, with Leicester? Yeah. They've been relegated today along with Southampton.
Yeah.
And I found a picture of the EFL the moment they found out they were getting relegated. Here they are, look, seeing Leicester drop down. Because they know they're in for a fucking, a bumming, to put it nicely.
You say that, Danny, but they're just going to say, well, Sheffield United only got 2 points.
Yeah.
No,
that
but
was financially regulatory, though. I can't remember what the Sheffield United didn't pay a bill on time or something. It's not the same, I don't think. So
okay, fair enough.
There you go.
Minus 15.
I remember Alf. Well, from what I've saw from Locks on the Leicester Fan TV channel, what they were saying is like, I remember Locks saying on your channel, Joe, when you obviously you talk to each other on your channel, didn't he say that they were knackered if they went down?
Yeah, but see I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe they will be. I genuinely don't know, mate, because I hope they are. But look, man, the football clubs play for top lawyers and they end up getting off anyway, don't they? But I think it's more a worry for Leicester because their squad's aging. They're going to lose players. Yeah. They don't have a lot of money. Who's going to be the manager? I think they're up shit creek. And the thing is, the division next season is going to be rock hard. Rock hard. Trust me.
That's it.
It'd be awful
to see him get out this year.
Yeah.
It'd be awful to see him do a Luton.
Oh, it'd be great.
I know. You've got to be sick to see that happen.
Well, we must be in intensive care, us three, then.
Yeah. Right then. Yeah. So we will talk about obviously the game tomorrow. Jay, Do you make any changes? Does Dan James come in for you? Oh, here we go. We've got Joe, a resident statman and great all-round guy. Let's say excuse for this season was we did that in the EFL, not the Premier League. Well, they're back in the EFL now, where they admitted to breaking the rules. So that says that. Thank you for that, Joe.
Sorry, go on then, Jay. What happens to him? I think if Dan James is fit, I'd be tempted, but I think what we're more likely to see is Nonto start and James come on later on. But this time he'll probably have a bit more in his legs and he'll go for it a bit more. I think we'll just try and we'll play the steady sort of style that we play. We'll try and get a goal with a bit of an intense start, most likely. And then we'll just kind of pass it around, be patient and wait for sort of 70 minutes and bring reinforcements on to mix it up a bit.
Yeah. I hope, I think
Ellen
Road's going to be like the Thunderdome pit. It's going to be it's going to be a bear pit. I think it's going to be great as well. What about you, Joe, mate? Any changes for you?
Yeah, I do think James will come back in. Everything else will remain the same, mate. I think he'll play James, to be honest. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the same team again. But I think James comes on later on.
Yeah, that's what I think.
But yeah, I mean, Stoke should be on the beach. I mean, come on, Stoke. Come on. We've always been mates. Just
safe now.
Don't let them fight in. Yeah, it's safe. I mean, what's Stoke good for, really, apart from driving through it?
Do you know what the sad thing is, Daddy? They're kind of in that position that we were in for all those years. Where you just do nothing and you end up safe.
Yeah.
And you're 14th, 15th, 16th, whatever. Nothing to be excited about. Season's over.
Since they dropped out, I did my research earlier. I think I read, since they've dropped out of the Premier League, they've not finished higher than 11th.
That's mad.
Which is mad.
I remember the first season under Bielsa.
Yeah.
Gary Rowett saying, to Calvin Phillips, he's not seeing the odds and stuff. We smashed him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The only change that Bielsa made was Barry Douglas at left back, and he absolutely played them off the park, smashed them.
I'll never forget that game.
They had the best squad in the league, the most expensive squad in the league, and they did shit. Yeah. And that's why for me it was imperative we went up this season. In hindsight, I said at the end of last season, after I'd stopped crying and I'd written about 3 feelings journals, a bit of therapy, then I said, what if this is like Bielsa's tenure? We fail the first season, but we go up the second season as champions. Won't that be a bit poetic in history? Do you know what I mean? I thought it'd be a bit of a sign. But yeah, if we're all agreed that there's hardly any changes, then fine, that's great. Last little bit now, then. What I do want to say, Farker in the Premier League, Joe. You specifically, because I know you're a very busy guy, and you probably won't be back on for a while because you do well. Okay. But what I want to know is, like, we go up. Farker, do you give him time? And what summer acquisitions do you see he's getting?
I think he deserves the opportunity, mate. I genuinely do. And I think he's look, this season there's been so many criticisms of him that for me have been unwarranted, unfounded, not based on any sort of just say play Joseph. Oh, have you not been watching him? Get out. There's been all these things, and I don't think the manager yet, even last season as well, has made a bad decision that's affected the football club in a negative way. I actually think he's been calm. I think us as a club probably need that. And let's see what he can do with some money. Do you know what really makes me laugh? It's like these people that have criticised him and say, start Joseph. Then it was Nonto in the 10. Then it was get Largy on. Then it was the next one. It's now that he's got up, now that he's turned around the form, the next thing is we shouldn't give him any money. Why should we let him sign players? Forgetting that he's signed players. So if he's the only one that's going to sign players in the Premier League, according to some, then surely the recruitment in the Championship should give you hope because we've not had a bad signing yet. apart from Spence,
true.
but that was off the pitch. If you look at every signing we've made, there's not been a bad signing. Ampadu's now captain. Rodon's one of our best players. Jordan Bogle, arguably the best fullback in the league. Tanaka, one of the best midfielders in the league. Ramazani has bags of potential. Solomon's been immense. Pirro has scored nearly 30 goals in 2 seasons. So I don't know why, but what it is, mate, it's people that don't rate him and want him gone, and they're just moving on to the next thing they can find a stick to beat him with. I think he deserves the opportunity. He's got what? Listen, back-to-back seasons, 90 points. You know, all these people that mention the 90-point trophy, he's fucking done it again. He's done it again.
Even Schmidt coming into his own.
Yeah. See, and sorry, just as well, just bring up Sean Ely's comment as well.
Is that the Farker one?
Calm, blaming other players instead of taking out you talking beans. I don't know what he's on about. And stop stealing my words, mate. Chatting beans. Yeah, you know what I mean. But what I will say, just on that, sorry, just bring that back up though. So managers know who they can call out, right? If you actually know football, if you actually have played football, if you actually watch and listen to ex-pros talk about football, certain players within a dressing room will be happy to be called out. It will give them a boost. Do you know, I was going to tweet it the other day. Niall Ranger was on Filthy Fellas, and he was talking about how Phil Brown used to absolutely batter him at Hull City. And they were like, how did you feel about that? And he went, well, to be honest, I knew that the rest of the squad were like, hell, he's having a go at Niall. Shit. If he's having a go at Niall, what will he do to us? And he said, and I could take it, because some players can and other players can't. Ferguson was the exact same with Wayne Rooney. So my point is, had he have called Meslier out, he'd have probably got worse. Had he have called, whoever it was that had a poor game, he'd have probably got worse. He was happy to call out Tanaka. He was happy to call out Ramazani. And then, but again, people are using that as a stick to beat him with, forgetting that that's what man management is. Danny, you play football. You know these certain players in the squad that'll be happy to have a go at people on the pitch, even on Sunday League, or those that'll be happy to take it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if someone have a go at me, the Content Creator Cup, I'll go, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? Like others might be like, no, you're right.
Yourself,
do you know what I mean?
You better watch yourself, pal.
That's bullshit, Sean. You do
I get it,
in the media. You're full of shit, mate. You don't know football. Anyway.
Jay, should we just get
everyone's
Joe and Sean?
Send Sean a link.
What he's saying.
I get you, mate.
Do managers call players out in the press? Yes or no? Do they do that?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
We've seen it.
Sometimes sometimes they won't do it directly. They'll do it subvertly by insinuating. I agree. But it's like with these players, they have egos. Niall Ranger, a friend of mine played against Niall Ranger, said he was one of the best footballers he's ever played against. And look what, apparently he had a massive attitude problem. Do you know what I mean? If you've got that talent, it all goes with the, especially when you play at Ellen Road and you've got 30,000 people either booing you. I mean, how do you think Weston McKennie took the booing and you fat bastard and all that kind of stuff? You've got to be able to be mentally prepare yourself for that. And on McKennie, according to reports, he left that last game and just got on a train to an airport and left. You know what I mean? He don't care about us. He didn't care. He's not a Leeds fan. You know what I mean? So, but anyway,
there's a comment there from Andy Rowe, and he's saying Parag in charge. He picks a team. I hate this. They're not gonna. me and Jack City have been having fun with this. Me and Jack City have been having lots of fun with this. If he was picking the team, why is Ramazani not playing? A guy that they spent money on. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's balls. And when Farker came here, he made a point about saying, "I'm not the coach, I'm the manager." He made a big point about that. So if you think he's going to sit there and have somebody else pick the team, that's bullshit, man. This is the thing, mate. Like Farker will know by now what kind of types of player he has, who he can depend on.
egos, who's who loves themselves, who thinks they can. But in this game, in professional football, you need an ego, don't you? If you want to beat the best, you've got to beat and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but
you've got to have a bit of an
Farke
attitude.
knows more than us. We see him on match day or in a training video. I agree with that 100%. Unless you're there watching him personally, do you know what I mean? You don't know what's going on.
That's it.
So
I mean, there's
back
things
off,
that
people. Jamie.
There's things I've questioned about Farke, but again, like Joe said, he's got the points on the board. We're up there again, and this division changes every season. And your squad
one more point better than last season.
So many variables.
One more point better than last season, and we could break Bielsa's record of going up.
To be able to stay on top of that,
83. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
100%. Yeah. Right then, let's get on to the last segment. We've just done over an hour. I promised Joe he'd be able to get to his sewing lessons in time. So let's get into this week's
Top Knob.
In the ancient Colosseum in Rome, they used to say "Topus nobis," the delicateist. I just made that last bit up. It roughly translates to "Who's pissed you off this week, buddy?" So I will come to you first, Jay. And who has pissed you off the most this week? I know I've caught you on the spot again.
Do you know what though? I've been so happy the last few days that I'm not really pissed off at anybody, which makes a change.
It doesn't have to be football related.
Let's
be Sean in the comments.
Hey, don't start trying to get needle between me and Sean. Leave that to Joe.
That's what Sean said about you, mate.
God.
God's
Joe, let me think for a minute. Let me think for a minute.
All right, Joe, has anyone pissed you off this week?
No, because it's been quite a good week. I'll tell you what, I'm going to nominate Sean Healy. He's ain't got a clue what man management is, and also on a week where, bearing in mind, he's reminded us all season that he's Farke out, then he's Farke in, then he's Farke out. On a week where Leeds United have all but confirmed promotion, he's basically been missing in action. He's the Leeds fan version of Locks, who's also missing in action. So while it's been going good, he's not been here. So it would have to be Sean Healy. And Locks as well. Put them both together. Locks and Sean Healy, top knobs.
Yeah, there's quite a few nominations for Locks. And Sean, you'll get an honorary nomination. You're going in there anyway. Jay, what about you, mate? Who's pissed you off? Who's your toppest knobbers?
It's just going to have to be
a bit fruity.
The easy one. It's just going to have to be Chris Wilder. Just for not losing.
Chris Wilder?
Yeah. I'm not really upset with anyone, so that's the best I can give you.
Well, I'm going to throw something in there. I'm going to nominate the comet that killed the dinosaurs on that TV show.
Yeah, that's a great
because if anything, you've just unearthed some old wounds, and now I feel really shit. So
never mind, mate. Never mind. Go rewatch that episode just for a bit of trauma. I'm
gonna go download it and just cry myself with a big tub of ice cream. So Sean Healy, Locks, the comet from the dinosaurs, and Wilder, you are this week's top knobs, and you go on to this list of top of the knobs.
Top knob.
That is the end of this week's podcast. I would like to thank my guests for standing in with me tonight. Joe, thank you very much, mate. Anything going on with the channel, and where can we find you, buddy?
Yeah, just your football show. Previews out now. Little laugh at Locks for about half an hour, which I enjoyed. Tomorrow, sorry, I had a mind fart then. Tomorrow we've got Leeds United versus Stoke, and then Burnley versus Sheffield United. So yeah, come join him. Also, I'm thinking, I was going to drive down, but I think we're Monday and I've got stuff that I need to do. I'm probably not going to do that, so I'm going to save that. But I think I'll do just a long stream where we'll get some members on and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. And we'll probably all meet up on the Monday and at the weekend anyway, probably when it is not all is confirmed. Jay, anything going on with Autonoba?
We'll have the normal sort of Tuesday pod. I think it'll end up being a combined BNC and main pod with the game being Monday, but hopefully it's going to be a bit of a party pod, all being well. Not a clue who was on it because I never look at the rotor until it's a minute before I'm due to be on. So, but yeah, no doubt. If things go well, I would expect there to be multiple people on because everyone's just going to be buzzing out there.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. I think I might do a surprise promotion cast, providing it does go on. But yeah, I do need to mention before I go, because Evie's just reminded me, she was very disappointed in me last week as she was on the channel that I didn't talk about it. The only time I didn't mention it is when Evie was on. That's how bad of an influence she is. Let me just find it. Now, the Content Creator Cup is on the 20th of July, and I will put the link in the description below. You can buy your tickets. I believe, Joe B, we've sold loads. I don't know specifically, but it is for a great cause. Myself's playing, Jay's playing. We're on Team Peacocks. We're going to smash these guys.
Absolutely.
Leeds Roses. It's Roses versus Peacocks.
Yorkshire Roses, man.
Showing off my midfield steel.
Every megs I get on Joe Wainman, I will donate an extra tenner to charity. So I'm looking. I'm going to be about 200 quid out of pocket. So a little right back, are we, Joe?
Me, yeah, I'm right back. Right back, yeah.
Are you an old school right back, Joe? Are you a wing back? Are you Jaden Bogle? You stood on the halfway line, ready to go.
Jordan Bogle.
I'm more Rasmus Christensen than Jaden Bogle.
I've put myself down as either left back or midfield, and I'm not even left.
Who's playing on left wing for you guys then?
I don't actually know.
I'm not giving team tactics away, mate. On the air.
But I think Carl told Luke. I think Carl told Luke.
I've just said.
No, listen. This is funny. It's funny.
Carl or who? Luke.
No, not for the wing. Carl told Luke that number 10 was the easiest position to play.
Oh, I remember that. I remember
he has to play there now, and he has to excel.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, please, thank you everyone for watching. It's been crazy numbers for us. Joe bringing over the raid and that. I appreciate that, Joe. Thank you very much. Love you to bits, brother. Please, everyone, please do like and subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000. We're about 37 away or 40 away from hitting 1K. If I get 1K, I will 2-foot Joe Wainman on the Content Creator Cup and DK J, who's on my team. I'm only joking. Right. Please do like and subscribe. I do apologize. I'm only messing, Joe. I won't dare touch you, mate. Not the way you snore. Right. A wise man once said,
yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, lads. Top notch. Hey up. Bye bye. Have a nice week, lads.
I love that.
I love that.
The best Italian
Can I see
Yorkshireman.
it again, please.
The fact it's got flat cap on as well.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, lads. Top notch. Hey up. Bye bye. Have a nice week, lads.
Top notch.
Hey up. Bye bye.
A heart of gold is our Andre. Yeah. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Please help us get to 1,000 before the end of the season. We much appreciate it. If you want to see more content, smash that like and subscribe. See you next time. Hopefully in the Premier League.